Welcome back to a Divided Kids learning session. We have been discussing about the social skill development of the children, and in this series we have started talking about the problem behavior of the children. Problem behavior, as we have already discussed, often crops up in the children, mostly in the preschool years, that is from 2 years to 6 years. And perhaps therefore it's very important for the teachers as well as parents to understand them well, analyze them well, and work on them so that we ensure that the child doesn't carry those problem behaviors in the future whenever there is a bigger learning opportunity for the child. So today we'll be discussing one of the aspects under this problem behavior of part 2 that deals with when child has the difficulty in the concentration and staying on a given task during this growing years. So we'll discuss on this, we'll discuss how to identify them, we'll discuss how to manage them so that we provide that support to our children in the right way. So as we know, the problem behavior is a common thing in children, and most of the time we just leave aside thinking that the child is small, and when the child will grow up, the child will take care automatically those problems. But it doesn't happen, as we have already discussed the theory of habitual behavior, nature of the child, or as human beings, whatever the behavior happens, and that behavior becomes a habitual nature in future. So question comes, how do we identify that the child has not enough concentration which may lead to the problematic behavior? So we have 4 symptoms and signs that we must remember and check very often that if such symptoms are present in our own children, or for that matter, if it is preschool teachers in the school itself, we can make it a point to check, to observe, and to monitor each and every child if such symptoms are present. Number 1, the child is restless most of the time. Restless means it could be child is not sitting still, the child is moving here and there. Even if the child is sitting, the hand movement is very fast. The child is trying to pull somebody's shirt. The child is trying to pick up another object nearby. So these are the symptoms when the child is restless. So if such kind of situation or such type of symptom happens, then we must keep that in mind. This could be one of the signs for the child which may lead to the deficiency in concentration. So if the child is restless, we'll take a note in the diary. We have got several options where we can document if there are problematic behavior in the child. Second symptom could be the child is distracted easily. Distraction means if child is onto a particular job and something happens nearby, child is immediately changing the attention towards that other thing that's happening around. It could be child is on a particular job, the phone rings, immediately child leaves aside the job and moves towards the phone. Somebody is calling on the doorbell, child is into a particular job, immediately without asking anybody, the child runs away just to take care of that. So that is called distraction, and it should be kept in mind these distractions are unnecessary distraction. The child is not supposed to do a piece of job, but when the child is unnecessary moving towards that particular activity, then that is called distraction. Distraction meaning unnecessary attention given to something. If that happens in case of our own children, we should be very careful, take those things seriously and work on them. But working comes later. It is very important if we can identify those things quite well in our children. Then the third symptoms is about the child talks a lot and interrupts other. We may have observed some children are there, they do not allow others to talk. They keep talking unnecessary talks. In between, even if the child is not been asked to answer something, child just gets into that discussion and starts talking. So this is not a good sign. That will lead to the problematic behavior of loss of concentration, and that may lead to not optimal functioning of the mind for doing a particular job. And again, another symptom is also attached to this, and that is the child interrupts others. For example, if some other child is having a discussion with the teacher and without taking permission, without asking for to tell something in between, the child simply barges into that discussion and interrupts other and try to put off other things which may be unnecessary at that point of time. So if such behavior is present in a child, then that may be termed as a problematic behavior, because that may lead to further complicated and multiple problems in future. So we should be very, very careful and very, very observant to our children if such symptoms are present in our children. The last symptoms in this particular problematic behavior is that the child doesn't complete a given task. When you just look to the top three symptoms, which is talking about distraction, restlessness, interrupting others, that automatically has an impact on the own task or the particular task the child is in. As I said, if the child is into a particular task and something happens nearby, the child is distracted. That means the moment child is distracted, the particular task where the child is in, that task remains backsided. So child will move around here and there. And the child is doing a particular homework, for example, somebody calls and child without finishing, that child moves away. So non-completion of a given task is very, very serious in nature. And if that is not developed in the mind of a child, then the feeling of accomplishment doesn't happen in the child's mind. So completing a given task is very, very important. And if the concentration problem is there, and this particular skill will be severely affected. So we may see that if we have given, for example, to write one page of practicing a particular letter or tracing or doing a coloring a job, these are the small things that a preschool child generally does. And even a particular picture needs to be colored and the child leaves that in between, that may be a small and beginning sign the child is missing out the concentration. So we as parents and teachers should give maximum attention towards such thing. A simple attention will bring lots of value or lots of benefit to our children, while we are just putting so much of effort to make sure our child becomes quite skillful. So these are the four symptoms. Number one is child becomes quite restless and very often restless. Child is distracted. Child talks a lot and interrupts others, and child doesn't complete a given task. If these four symptoms are present, then we should be very, very careful, and that warrants our attention, our action to work with our child. Then how we manage such behavior, if such kind of symptoms and signs are present in our child, then what we need to do? There are very easy steps and easy action points we must keep it in mind and try to do that as often as possible so that we can take care of such problematic behavior. Number one, we should not give a bigger task in one go. For example, if there is a page of let's say 15 lines of a letter A to be traced and written, and we as parents given that task to the child that you have to finish this one page, trace the letter A and complete it. Although this sounds very easy for us, sometimes it is quite a bigger task for the child. And if the child missing some kind of concentration skills and the child is already showing the symptoms of concentration, then this page of writing that letter A is quite a bigger task for the child. So in that case, if we understand the child is distracted, child is not having enough concentration, what we can do, instead of asking the whole page to be written, we can ask to just finish one line. That line may be having 8 or 9 letters of the same A to be practiced, will just ensure the child completes that one line. So we define completion of task means that finishing that one line. So the moment we communicate that this one line, if the child completes, is considered to be completion of the task. So once the child completes that, and the understanding of the accomplishment of one task, that makes the child to look forward to do bigger task. And through that only you can increase the concentration. We cannot increase the concentration by just asking the child and making the child do something by hook or crook that doesn't work. So in that way we can just make wonders by improving the concentration of the child. So this is very, very effective method, and I urge all the teachers and parents to take care of this and bring that output of having that accomplishment, feeling of accomplishment in the child. Once we are capable or successful in bringing that feeling of accomplishment in the child, then doesn't matter, child will himself or herself looking forward to do bigger tasks in one go. Second strategy we may adopt is that keep gadgets away from kids as much as possible. This is a very, very common practice that we are trying to do, but this is more important for children who are showing some kind of lack of concentration. If some child are having concentration problems and we allow them with electronic gadgets like iPads or tablets or mobile phones, then the distraction, the degree of distraction will increase. It will never decrease. It's a fact that we cannot keep such gadgets away from the children because we are living in such an age that this kind of things are very much part and parcel of our life. And if those things we are using, child is looking to us and child is bound to utilize them. But it is very important for those children who are having some concentration issues. For them, it is a big no to avoid such gadgets. Maybe if the child wants to use it for half an hour, we'll just try to make it for 15 minutes, 10 minutes, and gradually we try to decrease the timing of the child with gadgets. This is very difficult to practice, but for the benefit of a child, basically, if the child is having concentration issues, we have to do it. Then third strategy, maintaining the study timing daily at a stipulated time, that we have been talking about this, maintaining the timelines for the child quite long period of time. We have got a big article on that in our kids packet. So this is very, very important as far as the discipline of the child and adopting the studying pattern is concerned. And if we just let the child having different times of different activities, then child's distraction and child's discipline pattern will be affected to a greater extent. So if it is 4 to 5 or 5 to 6 or 6 to 7, whatever time, even if it is for half an hour, if we maintain that time, the child will automatically develop a habitual behavior of that pattern. The child will know that there is a mental clock will be working. Child will be thinking that by this time I'll have to sit for half an hour for the studies. So the chances of distraction during that time will be diminishing quite a bit. So if we just make this such a habit, then managing such concentration issues becomes quite easy for us. Then finally, allow enough sleep and enough nutrition. Although we have been doing a lot of plans, lot of activities to take care of such problematic behavior, but end of the day, it matters a lot to have enough sleep as well as nutritious foods to take care of those things. So while we talk about nutrition foods, then definitely these junk foods, although they are becoming part and parcel of life, but at least for the beginning few years, up to 6-7 years, if you can just avoid those things, because it stimulates mind. The kind of ingredients being used in this fast food that stimulates and doesn't help. In fact, it deteriorates the behavior of concentration. So enough nutrition, instead of that, lots of fruits, vegetables, that's what is required, and enough water. So these are few things, if done in a structured way, definitely this is a temporary pattern of problematic behavior, and it happens in most of the children in the preschool years. And that's why preschool setup becomes very, very important for the child to be taken care of on those. So it's not important that child doesn't have all these things. Most of the child will be displaying such kind of behavior, but important thing is that we understand them, we monitor them and work on them. That's what makes the skill building process be responsible matter for all of us. So with this, I think it becomes quite easy to manage them. And as I said, that every time it has to be monitored. And monitoring, as you said, that there should be a documentation process of the monitoring. So these four symptoms: child is restless, child is distracted, child is talking unnecessary and interrupts others, and child doesn't complete a task. If these four things are present, and this can be monitored at least once in 6 months, and for that matter, Adiveret Kids has already got its monitoring mechanism in place. So there is a particular format available, or otherwise the same thing can be put into a diary. So make sure this is a part of your monitoring process. And anyway, this is also part of our syllabus. It will be there in the syllabus how to do this. And once it is done, if the child is never showing, that's a good sign. So we give a score of 0. And if child is displaying such behavior rarely, we give the score of 1. And if sometimes the child is displaying, we give a score of 2. And if the child is doing often, then we give a score of 3. As in the beginning, we have already said, so the problematic behavior is a composition of around 8 different problematic behavior. So this one is the fourth behavior under this problematic behavior. So we keep on talking about all the 8 behavioral issues, and together, once we complete that, we have a composite score. But if we just give the scoring pattern and the scores are documented in child's routine document, then it will also be easy for the teachers to communicate accordingly to the parents to take care of such behavior, and accordingly such strategies can be taken up to reverse that. So once this documentation is done, then we have to do the necessary planning. And if there are some situation which is prevailing, then we may work on them and do again another round of evaluation or monitoring after another 6 months. So that's where it will help us to manage our children in a much better way. So this is all about, this is the fourth component of problematic behavior. And the next one we'll be talking about in our next session, child disobeys the rules. Child becomes quite adamant, child becomes quite rigid, and how to manage a child, how to know that child is not following various rules that is set in the society or set at the family level or at the school level. So how to manage them, we'll discuss in our next session. So thank you so much for listening to the various issues that we may face in our preschool years while we work on the child development, skill development of the child. And we'll talk to you in the next session with that next skill details of the child. Until then, thank you so much.